Hey everybody, it's Melissa. So I went to the mall recently with some people and I wanted to give you my updated opinions on some fragrances. I tried some newer ones, but for the most part, I also tried a lot of the scents that I wasn't that big of a fan of before, just to kind of see if my opinion changed. So the first one I remember trying was Gucci Bloom, and I still feel the same way about it. Gucci Bloom is a feminine fragrance that is very floral, right? But I find it to kind of be reminiscent of a funeral home. Unfortunately, it's just not my cup of tea when it comes to florals. For some reason, it's not something I would want to wear or want to smell as much on somebody unless they were maybe my grandmother. But even at that, my grandmas don't typically wear scents like that. Unfortunately, that's the stereotype for older women, is smelling either Gucci Bloom florally or almost powdery. And for me, that fragrance is still a miss. The next one is the ever so popular Versace Eros Flame. Now, Flame is the red bottle, and this fragrance gets a lot of love from guys in particular, I think because, the name and the bottle kind of look a bit cool. But it is a nice, different sort of spicy fragrance in the opening. It has a nice dry down as well, but I still prefer the original Eros. I know that Eros is a fairly popular fragrance and a lot of people tend to use it, but when you compare it to Flame, yeah, Flame is a bit more different. Maybe it's just the difference of the feminine nose and the masculine nose, but to me, I find the original Eros to be sexier than Eros Flame. But again, even when I was with some guys, they preferred Flame, and then the girl that was with me preferred the original Eros. So the women liked Eros, the guys liked Eros Flame. The next fragrance was Versace Dylan Blue, and this is still a fantastic fragrance. I think the first time I tried it, it was good, right? This was a couple years ago at the mall. It was just on a test trip, and it was good, right? And then when I tried it again, I was like, all right, it's that typical sort of masculine cologne. I wasn't really feeling it as much. And then when I tried it again this past time, I really did like it. And it's never been like a superstar fragrance to me, but smelling it and just knowing that when I have people that know me in real life and they always ask me for fragrance recommendations, I 9 times out of 10 always point them to a designer, just because unless they ask me about niche, then I'll open up the niche world. But for the most part, I keep it in the designer realm because a lot of people don't know where to get these niche fragrances, and the price for them scares a lot of people in general. So Versace Dylan Blue is a scent that I know has fantastic versatility. And on top of that, the price point isn't bad at all. I think at that mall, it was probably $51 for the 50 ml, so the 1.7 fluid ounce bottle. But on discount sites, I have seen the full 3.4 ounce bottle for $50. So what I always say is smell it for free at the mall or at these perfume shops and test it on your skin, see how it performs. You can sometimes even ask them for a sample and they'll give you a sample for free of the fragrance, and then test it on yourself and then buy it at a discount site. That way you save some money. I'll put a discount site in the comment section below in case you guys want to take a look at that. It is an affiliate link if you want to support the channel, but of course, buy wherever you want to. And so Dylan Blue was just an amazing fragrance. In fact, when I was with my cousin, that was the first fragrance that I had him try because he was looking for his scent. He told me, he was like, I want your advice. What should I get? So we went to the perfume section and I was like, okay, you know what? I want to give him something that's going to have that versatility, something that he can wear if he goes surfing or if he has a business meeting or he's going on a date. And he was like, also like, what's the scent that, girls are going to like? Of course, right? So I was like, you know what? You have to try Versace Dylan Blue. It was the first one he sprayed on his arm. Instantly fell in love with it. And even while we were checking out different scents, he just kept going back to Dylan Blue. And even when I smelled it on him, I was just like, yeah, that is just the perfect fit. And to me, Versace Dylan Blue works for all ages, all right? So if you're just looking for that mask fragrance, even if you're a teenager, if you're a college student, if you're somebody in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, if you want to give a gift to your dad and you want an affordable, quote unquote, designer fragrance, that would just be an awesome pick. And I just think that it does so well. It just checks off all those boxes. And you have to remember, a majority of people, when they go to get a fragrance, they're not looking to buy like 10 different scents. They just kind of want the one that'll do it all. At max, maybe 2 or 3. That's how a majority of people are with it. And Versace Dylan Blue is just such a steal for the price point. And in terms of performance, I remember it being, man, last time I opened my windows, it's like gnat season. Anyways, it's that damn tree. Anyways, what was I saying? Like not versatility. Performance, about like, it can go past 7 hours, honestly. Especially you spray that on clothes, it will definitely last longer. All right, enough just talking about that scent. The next one was Armani Code, and y'all know that I do have Armani Code. It's a more masculine fragrance, and to me, I find that better suited for an office environment. I still give that one a thumbs up. It does have a little bit of a powdery smell to it, which would not really make it that wearable for the summertime, so I don't recommend that. I would say if you use Armani Code, it's best to use it if you're in AC conditions. Like if there's some air conditioning blowing and you're dressed up nicely for work, it will smell good. So that one is a thumbs up. The next fragrance is Soleil Blanc by Tom Ford. And I remember the first time I smelled that a couple of years back. At first, I wasn't really a fan of the smell. I was like, whoa, it was pretty strong to me, right? It was my introduction to private blend Tom Ford fragrances, and I myself didn't know it. I just saw Tom Ford on the label, tried it, and I was like, yo, this is so different from all the other ones here, but I wasn't sure if I liked it. Fast forward to the next day, I smelled the dry down. My sister and I smelled the dry down, and we were like, oh, damn, this thing smells good. It just, I don't know how it transformed. It's just like a nice floral fragrance that I find has really nice versatility for spring, for summertime. It might be a little bit intense in the opening, so I would suggest it more for spring over summer. But if you did want to have that little fresh, florally nugget that you can try to use for fall and winter, you can give that one a shot. People have complained about performance, but honestly, I remember when I tried that first time, the performance was so strong, especially on clothes. And this time around, again, I have the same feeling towards it as well. So that has kind of remained in the same position. I find it to be more of a feminine fragrance than a masculine one, even though it's marketed as unisex. So y'all try it for yourself and tell me what you think. All right. The next scent, well, another scent that stood out was, well, not stood out, but I remember trying, was Acqua di Gio Profondo. So this is the light blue, or this is the blue bottle, right? Profumo was something I used to talk about last year. That was a big recommendation that I would give to people. And Profondo is something I would recommend for just like 20-something-year-olds looking for a fresh and clean fragrance. But to me, I don't know, I'm still not wild about it. The Acqua di Gios are just like, they're okay, you know, from the original. Profumo is nice. Profondo it's pretty good, but I still feel like Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Intense for women solos those fragrances, even if you're a guy. And if you're like scratching your head, how can you compare the women's to the men's? Trust me. And this kind of leads me to my next point, which is a fragrance so many people ask me about, is Versace Man Eau Fraiche. And when I made that video about Light Blue Intense by Dolce Gabbana being a very, like being a top contender for a summer scent, some people were asking about that Versace fragrance. They're like, well, isn't Eau Fraiche, don't they smell the same? Isn't it better to get Eau Fraiche? But y'all, I've tried Eau Fraiche so many times, and I still don't really like it as much. And the thing is, I don't dislike it, but it's just so like middle of the road. You know what I'm saying? I truly feel like if you're looking for the sexy Versace fragrance, if you don't want to go for Eros because it's too sweet and appley and you find it just to be a bit too overworn, I would highly recommend Dylan Blue. I think Dylan Blue is one of the best masculine Versace fragrances that have been put out, and honestly, for all the right reasons. So if you're asking me my opinion on Eau Fraiche, it's a pass. If you really like that sort of DNA, and for some reason my words weigh heavy on your opinion and what you should grab, I would still recommend the women's Light Blue Intense if you're looking at Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Again, that's just coming from a woman's perspective on, like, you know, the sex appeal of the fragrances. How it wears on your skin is dependent on your skin chemistry, because who knows? Versace Man Eau Fresh might be fantastic on you. Light Blue Intense might be not the scent that you want, right? So it's all about testing it for yourself. And the great thing about every single fragrance that I'm mentioning in this video is that y'all can try it for free at your local Macy's, at your local perfume shop. These are super common and you can get your hands on them, so you can make that distinction and that comparison all on your own. And then later on, if you want to just buy a bottle, you can absolutely do that. But that's just my opinion. Light Blue Intense is better than Acqua di Gio Profondo. I just didn't find Profondo to be that memorable, and Versace Man Eau Fresh. All right. The next one, what was it? We did try Chanel Allure Homme. It wasn't the sport one, and it's nice. The opening is nice, but it kind of got a little powdery on my skin. Maybe it's my skin chemistry with it, but I didn't end up liking the dry down of Chanel Allure Homme. I thought it was okay. Not even okay. It's not something that it's not like a first recommendation for me. Honestly, I would recommend like Dior Homme Cologne. In fact, I kind of liked the way that smelled a little bit. A very nice, fresh fragrance that's really wearable for professional sort of environments. Even just like if you're in a linen shirt on a boat, it'll smell good. So Dior Homme Cologne, I would love to have that and do a full review of that fragrance because it was good. It was a good scent. But again, like that one definitely over Chanel Allure Homme or Homme Allure. No, Allure Homme is what it is. All right, another fragrance. Gosh, what I'm blanking on the name of it. Well, let me move over to this one. It was Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now I just posted a full video on before you get Elixir, just watch that video, right? So Elixir, good fragrance, long lasting. I think that is one of the strengths of that scent is the fact that it does not play. We are talking over 24 hours of performance with that scent. So if you're somebody that's always complaining about ass performance with your designer scents, then Elixir will not disappoint you in that regard. Now, it is a sweeter fragrance. If you live in places like Vegas, Arizona, if you live coastal where it's always sunny outside, then it's probably not going to be the best for daily wear, but it is a good fragrance to kind of have in your rotation if you want that sweet scent that is gonna be that it's a designer fragrance that has somewhat of a niche feel because it adds some complexity with some licorice. I think there's some cinnamon, there's some cardamom in this fragrance. So it kind of goes in that sort of direction. It's like a designer and a niche put together, but still more on the designer side. It still has that typical Sauvage DNA, but it does something unique with it, which I totally which I admire with, the creation of that fragrance. However, like I said, it's probably going to put you off the first time you smell it. And this is what I always say when you're trying these fragrances for the first time, you don't want to judge it just based off those first few seconds, right? Because these things can transform over time. And the thing with Elixir is you have to be patient. It's not a fragrance that if you're trying to decide what to get, you're going to smell that immediately and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm picking it up right now within that initial time spraying it. It's not like the other Sauvages like EDP and EDT that you can instantly know, okay, this is something that I want to pick up. It's something that is going to just slam you the next day. And you're like, damn, I'm thinking about that smell again. That Elixir smelled pretty good. And then you're going to smell that jacket that you wore when you sprayed Elixir for the first time. And you'll be like, holy shit, it's getting better and better. Why did I just get the EDT when I'm starting to like how the Elixir smells, So just keep that in mind. For me, the best that the Elixir smelled was after I ran my laundry with the clothes that I wore when I first smelled it. I was like, okay, the initial time I smelled it, it was super strong. It was kind of off-putting. I'm going to be completely honest with you, to the people around me, specifically the women. They were just like, yeah, that's really strong, right? Like, let that settle. Spray that on your clothes before you go out, like a day before you go out, because the way that dries down is so much better than that initial 8 to 24 hours, in my opinion. All right, that's just my opinion on it. It just smells better in the super dry down, if that's possible. Like I've said, it's in that category with Oud Satin Mood for me, where I cannot wear it when it's freshly sprayed. Give me a couple days after, and then I'll throw it on, and I'll just start to really love it. So it's not a fragrance that you can really, really hate unless you're really overspraying it, and it'll just give everybody a headache. That thing, trust me, even with a small sample of Sauvage Elixir, doing 2 sprays of that will fill the room. That is just how much of a beast mode scent it is. So wear it at nighttime. I wouldn't recommend wearing it like if you're gonna be in a closed space with a bunch of people, especially if you're doing 3 sprays. Even 2 sprays, it can be a lot. To me, less is more with that fragrance, but still, I would definitely give it a thumbs up. And in terms of age appropriateness, 25 and up for Elixir. I do not think that it's like it fits a teenager at all. It just will not come across as, they won't be able to pull it off. That's just my opinion. If you're a teen and you're offended by that, I mean, I'm not going to apologize for it, but it's like the example I used in the other video is kind of like when a toddler or an 8-year-old tries to put on their dad's tie and their dad's shoes. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's so cute. But no one's actually like, wow, look at wow, he's really looking great. No one, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get it, right? All right, the next fragrance that I remember trying was, I think it was Alien. It was Alien by Mugler. I still feel the same way about it. I think Libre is the better option. Alien is a feminine offering from Mugler. Very popular. It's polarizing with the women that have tried it. Some people really love it. They ride hard for it. Others, like myself, don't really care too much about it. I could see how people like it. It's definitely more of a sharp fragrance, and that's why it would kind of generate that sort of head-turning reaction because of its sharpness, because it kind of demands that attention when you wear it. But to me, I feel like Libre is sexier by YSL. I think Libre is sexier, all right? And of course, the next one, Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. We smelled that, 10 out of 10. Amazing fragrance, versatile, feminine, sexy. It's just, if you are looking for your all-in-one fragrance, just get Good Girl by Carolina Herrera and you will get your back broken. It smells so good. All right, Cloud, Ariana Grande. Thumbs up on that fragrance. Unisex, by the way, all right? I know that if you see Ariana Grande's face on there and you're a guy, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get this. She has a ponytail. Like, I don't know what it is, but you'll see her face, you'll see that the bottle is a cloud, and you might feel somewhat emasculated going home with that, not having an excuse of, oh, it's for my sister, it's for my girlfriend. Listen, the smell itself is actually pretty good. It's a sweet fragrance for all you sweet lovers. It has like almost a tropical vibe to it, like a coconutty sort of vibe, and it's supposedly a dupe of Baccarat Rouge 540 by MFK. Of course, it doesn't smell exactly like Baccarat Rouge, but it's definitely good for the youth. Like if you're in high school all the way like to your 20s, even in your 30s, it's just a nice scent, and it's an affordable fragrance as well. I think that I remember seeing that on Max Aroma before for like $30 for like the big bottle. I'm not sure what the price of it is now because I'm sure it's probably doubled. I wouldn't be surprised, but still the retail price for that is like $75. And if it doubled from the last time on those discount sites, that's like what, $60. You'll still save yourself $15 than if you were to get it at retail price, right? But really long lasting fragrance. Definitely goes over 8 hours on skin. Even I'm gonna say 10 hours on skin because that thing does not go away. My only recommendation would be to wear that at nighttime or during cold seasons. I don't find it to be a hot weather sort of fragrance because the marshmallowiness of it and that sweetness can get a little bit nauseating if it's a bit too hot outside. And that's when I would recommend things like Light Blue Intense. But overall, a good scent that it just smells good. And for the most part, you have to remember, y'all, I know bottles, like people are very particular about the bottle design of things, and I totally understand. But remember, you're wearing the juice, all right? You're not going around with what the bottle looks like with you and everyone's gonna see that. Unless they go to your room and they see it, maybe, but still, it's really not that big of a deal and no one's looking into it as hard as you would be, all right? Now, I think there was, oh yeah, the Polo fragrances. Yeah, the Ralph Lauren Polo fragrances give total uncle vibes. That's all I really have to say about them. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I actually, when my uncle came and looked at my collection, he saw Polo and he's like, I want one of those. I said, don't you already have 2 Polo fragrances? He's like, yeah, because they're the best. And they're good. Like, it totally gives uncle that likes to golf or dad that likes to golf. You know, so if somebody in your life that is past the age of 40 likes to golf and likes to wear polo shirts, then get them a Ralph Lauren polo fragrance, something like ultra blue or even red. And it's gonna smell good. The thing is, I like the smell of the polo fragrances, but for the people that ask me for my recommendations that are around my age or younger, it's just not something that I automatically, have them smell or recommend to them. And the thing is, when I have gone to the mall, like the other time with my cousin, looked at the Ralph Laurens, it wasn't something like, oh yeah, these smell good. Everyone saw the bottles and we're like, yeah, there's definitely Titos that we know that wear something like that. Which leads me to the other fragrance, Bleu de Chanel. That is one of the ultimate Filipino uncle fragrances of all time. Let me tell you, all of us, when I went with my cousins, we smelled it, we looked at the bottle, and they closed their eyes. They're like, I could just picture the function right now, like every Tito wearing this scent. So it's not bad, all right? But of course, whenever there's an association with a very particular group of people that you know, or type of people that you grew up with, it's not somebody's first thing to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna grab this scent. So yes, it's a grapefruit fragrance it's on the masculine side, smells good, has that longevity, but all of us were just like, yeah, it's good, but we're just gonna kind of leave it on the shelf. It's not something we're gonna pick up because we're not trying to give off uncle vibes right now. And at least I wasn't the one that even said that, but they were like, yeah, I'm gonna just put this back. It's too much. It's too similar. We already know that what it would remind people of if I were to wear it, you know? So I guess to him, if he would have got that fragrance, it would have aged him like 10 years. But again, Bleu de Chanel doesn't smell old, all right? It's not that type of scent, but just not what I would recommend to people that are in at least younger Filipino guys that don't want to go down that path that soon, I guess. But still a nice fragrance overall, just not my first suggestion, all right? Now there were more, but I don't want this video to be too long for y'all because I don't have the bottles to even showcase. But anyways, let me know what you think of the designer fragrances that y'all check out at the mall, or if you have any recommendations of ones you want me to try that you haven't seen reviews on, let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to know if I've tried these fragrances, literally YouTube my name, Melissa National, and like Versace Dylan Blue or whatever scent that you are interested in, and see if I reviewed it already. And if I didn't, then leave that comment down below. All right, I'll leave that discount link there as well, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care. Bye.